Okay guys, so welcome back to the second part of the precious components videos for my invention banking to 99 and possibly 120. If you've only just started watching and you started on this video, this is the results of 5,000 rings of slaying being disassembled and how many precious components I got from that. If you want to learn how I made the rings of slaying and any tips and tricks that I've put within that video, then it is in part 1, which you will find on my channel. Okay, so I'm coming close to the end of making the 5,000 rings of slaying. So what we're going to do now is, I am going to disassemble all of the rings of slaying and give you the results of what I got from getting those. So as you can see, I have now made the 5,000. So I'm just going to take them out now, and this is what I'm going to be disassembling. So just thank them for the forges, which I've been using most of the day to make these 5,000 rings of slaying. And now we're just going to go to, let's do this in thriftiness, like good old times. Okay, so like I've already shown previously, the rings of slaying do offer these parts and components: delicate connector smooth parts, and then precious and enhancing components, with the junk chance of 4%, and the chance for up to 5 materials each ring of slaying. So let's just have a look at my precious components. I've got 166, and if you remember, the goal that we're aiming for is 500, so that means I need another 334 from these. So I'm going to start this now anyway. Let's get started. Okay, I'm coming close to the end of my 5,000 disassembles for rings of slaying. I just had to stop here before I finished them off, because I wasn't recording, obviously. So after I've done these last ones, I will show you how many precious components I have made from doing these 5,000 disassembles. So let's start with the costing of doing this method, which is rings of slaying being disassembled for precious components. Okay, so the enchanted gem costs 1 GP, so that's 5,000 plus the cost of the 5,000 gold bars that I bought at 421 GP each. Okay, so we spent 2.1 mil on 5,000, and that 5,000 actually got me, let's see, 900 precious components. Now remember, I was only after 500 to make 100 equipment siphons, because it requires 5 per equipment siphon when you make them. So I've got 900, so 900 minus the 166 I already started with is 734. So 734. So each one of these costed me 2,880 GP per one, and it required time for me to actually collect the enchanted gems every day, so 600 a day for 5,000. But then other than that, the actual labour time of making the rings themselves, I did them all today and disassembled them today, you know, whilst doing other things in my life. So really, once you've collected them, it's not a big task. If you follow the things that the other guides that I've gave you, like the base parts guide and this one, you can do these each day. It takes you 10 minutes per one. Well, this one will take you 10 minutes to collect the gems. So if you did that each day whilst you work on other things in the game, you know, build it up over time, you could do them all in a lump sum, which is exactly what I did. So actually making the rings, I could make 1,000 rings of slaying in an hour. So to do 5,000, I did them in 5 hours, and that's based on having the portable forge and also a pack yak full of gold bars and enchanted gems. So almost every single inventory I did had about 27 rings in it, and I was pretty much fluent all the way through. I didn't really have many breaks, but yeah, it takes an hour to do 1,000. And then also to do 5,000 disassembles probably took me about an hour and a half. So you're talking 6.5 hours altogether to get all you need for 99 invention in terms of collecting precious components for the equipment siphons. But anyway, as promised, I said I'd show you some other alternatives to getting precious components. So I also bought 1,000 of specific items from the Grand Exchange and found how many precious components I got for those to compare in terms of cost. So here it is. So I went with Rings of Wealth purely on the fact that they're quite a popular ring. It's probably one of the first things someone will probably think of in terms of what ring to disassemble, and then they'll look at the cost of it. And this is what I got from it. So the Ring of Wealth chance is 36.8 for junk, and the possibility of 5 items in terms of parts or components. So, and that includes the junk as well, obviously, in that. So when I'm buying 1,000 of those, it costed me 10.4 mil, nearly 10.5 mil, and I received 104 precious components. So that works out to each precious component actually costing me 100,000, just over 100k. So that is a very expensive option, but I've done it for you just to show you the difference between this and what I'm potentially advising you to do. However, obviously it takes a little longer. And then I also looked at diamond rings, because I just thought I can't really just show you Rings of Wealth because that is an extortionate amount. It isn't really a good comparison for the Rings of Slaying. So diamond rings, 1,000 of those costed me 3.15 mil. So that's 3,153k, and I received 80 components for that. It is practically half the chance of receiving a junk item out of the 5. So that cost per precious component for me was 39,418 GP. So even for something that's a 3,000 GP item, it is still very high. So now you can see one more time what the Rings of Slaying was. The Rings of Slaying costed me 2.1 mil for 5,000 of them. But obviously we're just going to base this on 1,000, so the cost of this is so much less. So the cost is just under 423k, and from that I received 147, and the cost per part is 2,880. So it is by far the best option, and even though it takes longer, you can still make most of that time. It only takes you 10 minutes to do a run of enchanted gems, and to make the actual items it's not a lot. I literally practically banked 99 precious components in 6.5 hours, not including going to the shops. But it's literally nothing, and it costs nothing as well. Why would you spend 10 mil and get less than you would for spending 400k? It's just crazy. If I had to get the right amount of components doing either of these methods, it would actually take, for Rings of Wealth, it would be 52 mil, 52.4 mil. Doing diamond rings, it would be over 20 mil. So yeah, I did it in 2.1 mil, this method. So I hope that helps in terms of your decision, which are required to make siphons if you are planning to siphon your weapons during combat. If you have found anything else that's worth a mention for precious components, please do let me know. My next video will be a progress video for my banking of 99 Invention, and then following that it will be a Dextrous components video. And because this video is slightly more delayed than I anticipated, I get to say Happy New Year to you all and welcome you into 2018, and hope that everything you plan for this year and onwards happens, and we all have a good year ahead. Thank you.